So I walked up to the cage, and this is what I found.
Amanda Brashears was going to feed her 5 hens and rooster this morning when she discovered them all lifeless, practically in the same position, with no signs of a predator entering their enclosure.
I'm beyond upset and quite panicked because they may be just chickens, but they're family.
Brashears says her chickens were alive and well yesterday. She believes the smell following the detonation of the train carrying chemicals that derailed in East Palestine is to blame for her birds' sudden death.
My video camera footage shows my chickens were perfectly fine before they started this burn. And as soon as they started the burn, my chickens slowed down and they died. If it can do this to chickens in one night, imagine what it's going to do to us in 20 years.
Officials have said that the smell wasn't toxic or dangerous, but still advised people in the Mahoning Valley to stay indoors Monday night as a precaution.
For them to say the air quality is okay, I'm calling BS. I'm going to be taking my birds to the vet to have them examined, because if this is the cause of their burn, they're being held responsible.
Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. I wanted to look at this story about what's going on in East Palestine, Ohio at the moment with the train derailment that happened a couple of weeks ago, and now chemicals that were released into the air, even though residents were told to go home. And apparently an environmental agency reported that it's safe and, people don't have anything to worry about. However, the residents themselves are saying that they are getting headaches. People are reporting of animals dying. People are posting videos of fish, dead fish. It doesn't look good. This is a really, really serious, very extremely concerning situation. And it doesn't seem like it's being taken seriously enough. There's not a sense of urgency in helping these people. First of all, in admitting what's really going on and the danger that these people are potentially in, and acting upon that and making sure they get out of there. I mean, that's basically what it seems needs to be done now. But initially, the whole thing was downplayed and residents were told to go home. So they're being told one thing, but their experience is a completely different situation. So I'm going to read an article that's now, one of the few articles that is talking about the health concerns rather than downplaying it. And we're going to look at some videos and some reports about the whole really concerning situation. Health and environmental concerns are mounting in East Palestine, Ohio, after several derailed train cars released toxic fumes last week. On February the 3rd, about 50 cars of a Norfolk Southern train went off track in Ohio, causing a day-long fire in the area. 10 of the 50 derailed cars contained hazardous chemicals, including butyl acrylate and vinyl chloride, which among combustible liquids that authorities feared could set off a major explosion. Residents of East Palestine were later asked to evacuate out of precaution. On Monday, February the 6th, crews conducted what officials called a controlled release of the hazardous chemicals, which caused a large plume of black smoke. The evacuation order was lifted on Wednesday, and since then, there have been a growing number of reports about people experiencing a burning sensation in their eyes, animals falling ill, and a strong odour lingering in the town. Some business owners and East Palestine residents have filed lawsuits against Norfolk Southern, saying the company was negligent and demanding that the company fund court-supervised medical screenings for serious illnesses that may be caused by exposure to those chemicals. It's really, really sad to hear. Air quality continues to be monitored indoors and outdoors. Local officials have insisted that the air is safe to breathe and the water is safe to drink in East Palestine. The Environmental Protection Agency, which has been monitoring the air quality, said it has not detected any levels of concern in East Palestine as of Sunday. The agency added that vinyl chloride and hydrogen chloride have not been detected in 291 homes that have been screened as of Monday. There are 181 homes left to be evacuated in the voluntary indoor air screening program. this is the thing. The residents are being told one thing. Oh, it's safe. We've done the tests. We don't have this chemical in the air. But they're smelling toxic fumes. They're experiencing stinging of the eyes. Animals are getting sick. So again, it's almost like gaslighting. They're being told one thing, but their experience is completely different to what they're being told. And that needs to be taken seriously. Released toxic fumes have short and long-term side effects. On Sunday, the EPA released a list written by Norfolk Southern of the toxic chemicals that were in the derailed cars. In addition to vinyl chloride and butyl acrylate, it mentioned ethyl acrylate, which can cause headaches, nausea, and respiratory problems in people exposed to it, as well as isobutylene, which can make people dizzy and drowsy. Of particular concern is the vinyl chloride, which was loaded on 5 cars, a carcinogen that becomes a gas at room temperature. It is commonly used to make polyvinyl chloride, or PVC, which is a kind of plastic used for pipes, wires, and cable coatings and car parts. Now, I'm sure the residents there, they're not just concerned about themselves, they're concerned about their children. There's people with babies. There's people with, it's one thing telling an adult, oh, it's perfectly safe, but is it going to be safe for a baby, an infant? This would be my main concern, the children there. And of course, it's like, okay, it's safe, but is it going to be, what are you going to tell us in 10 years' time? Are you going to be like, oops, turns out it wasn't safe? That's not an option. So I really hope these people, the whole country needs to be supporting these people. All the resources that are been set aside, I would hope, for things like this, I hope they're being used to their fullest extent to help these people. Not everyone has the means to move out and go and live elsewhere until this thing dies down. Not everybody has the means to do that. So these people need support, and there's already a court case because the environmental agency would, basically said it was safe. But based on the chemicals that were released, you can't tell me that this is safe, because that's what these chemicals cause long term. There's carcinogens released into the atmosphere. So I really hope that this story continues to get a lot more traction. Let's look at a couple of news reports.
He is a resident of East Palestine. He lives just 2 miles from where it happened, and he joins us now with his wife, Kelly. Thank you both so much for joining us. Are you concerned about being there right now?
Yes, we are.
Very.
Very. I bet you are. Are you seeing effects? I mean, it seems from our perspective, hundreds of miles away, like there are dangerous chemicals in your town. Are you seeing the effects of that?
We are seeing them locally inside of our bodies, what we're experiencing. Local fish in our creeks have died. Oily sheens and coloration in our water. Constant smell of burning plastics and chemicals in the air. Issues with our dog, vomiting, acting lethargic. It's scary stuff here, Tucker.
Well, it's horrifying. It's horrifying. It's a nightmare. And again, if that had happened in Washington, D.C., no one would be living there right now. Is there any federal presence? Are you getting the sense that anybody to whom you send your tax dollars every year cares about what happens to you?
At this moment, unfortunately not.
No. So there are no EPA officials in hazmat suits, no one from the Department of Transportation's walking around trying to figure out how this happened, how to prevent it again, that you have seen?
Nobody's knocking on our door.
How many of your neighbors are still there?
Our neighbor across the street and our next door neighbor, they came back on this past Saturday as well when we returned back home. And that was days after when they said it was safe to return, and we still didn't feel comfortable. And as soon as we got into the Ohio line, we immediately smelled the chemicals yet again. And since then, I now have the chemical burns and reaction rash on my face, and my throat is getting irritated again, and feeling very uneasy, very uneasy.
Man, I'm so sorry. And I'm just assuming, looking at the numbers, I've never been to East Palestine, but it looks like a lot of people there probably don't have anywhere else to go.
That's just the thing. We actually just moved here last May and got a nice 14-acre property, place to kind of call our final home, you know. And we're outskirts of the town where the incident happened, but in town, I mean, it's a very small knit area, and a lot of them are lower class and low income. And fortunately, we had a place to go on Sunday whenever we got the 2-mile evacuation order, but a lot of those families unfortunately didn't.
I really hope that he gets the support he needs, both him and his family and the other residents there too. We need to start seeing some action. People need to have the support they need to either evacuate or at least get the medical screenings they need. Animals that have died need to be tested immediately to find out the cause of death. And we need to stop downplaying everything and call it what it is. Very dangerous situation where these people need to be rescued from. So let's take a look.
So we were setting up here, and actually one of the residents here that had to evacuate, Ashley McCullum, flagged me down and was like, hey, like, you know, one of the things that has been on their minds are a lot of these gas monitors there that are doing the readings around the neighborhoods, and also the impacts that this is having on not just them as residents, but the younger generation, kids. She has 2 of them and a handful of pets. Mm-hmm. And Ashley, I wanted to talk to you because, I mean, you've been evacuated this entire time. You haven't returned since the derailment. Is that correct?
Yes, since the first day, whenever they had the first initial evacuation.
Why haven't you come back home?
I don't feel like it's safe. A lot of other people are experiencing symptoms. They're trying to brush it off, or they don't have the funds to leave. So hearing that, I just don't want to come back until I know that it is safe.
One of the things that you were also telling me is that, bear with me as we deal with the motorcycle behind us, but one of the things you're also telling me is that, you know, it's also impacted like your school, the schooling for your kids.
Yes. My son's had complaints, his stomach hurts. I've heard other people aren't sending their kids, don't feel comfortable sending them. They don't think the school was cleaned properly, or people are just fully transferring their kids to a different school.
At what point would you feel comfortable moving back home?
When my house reads 0, because I feel like no trace of the chemical in my house with still air is safe. Things are being tested properly, or if outside companies would come in and double check anything that's being tested or continues.
How long do you think you'll be able to stay away from home? Because it can't be cheap.
Fortunately, I'm staying with my mother, so that has been a big burden off of me, and I know other people don't have the luxury. As long as it takes for their safety, if I need to drive them back and forth to school, what I was planning on doing, or if we need to relocate, I may have to do that.
Yeah. Well, and Kira, I mean, these are sentiments that I've heard echoed from other residents in this community, folks that say, look, yes, we see the readings on the gas monitors. We hear what's coming from the press conference saying that there's no contamination in the air and the water, but still, you see that hesitancy, that lack of assurance that, you know, in fact, the air and the water is safe. And I think there's also an understanding here that, you know, this is going to be something that has to continue to be monitored over a long period of time. It's not just going to be, you know, what the reading is today. It's going to be what it is a week from now, months from now, and ultimately years from now to get the entire impact of this.
So do you think they're trying to downplay this whole thing? And if so, why? I wish everyone the best there, and I hope that they get the support they need. So thanks for watching, and thank you for coming back to the channel, and I'll see you in the next video.